Prince Harry has such a cheek that he is now piling the pressure on Catherine, the Princess of Wales, to step in and try and save his failing relationship with Prince William. Not understanding that it's over, brother. It is gone. Finito. Just accept it.
They've choked off any information Harry and Meghan had, which is all the currency they had to sell. They have no more royal news to sell, and they're slowly going down the tubes. They've lost everything.
Why would you ever want Harry around when he's going to insist on bringing his wife, who once made you cry, then lied about it to Oprah, and always seems to have varying recollections?
William was fuming, but was particularly upset about what Harry said about Kate. He is fiercely protective of her and will find it hard to ever get over it and have a proper relationship with his brother again.
Catherine was reportedly the last person still willing to leave the door open for Harry. Now, according to royal commentators, even that may have changed. What once looked like a slim chance of reconciliation appears to be fading fast. William had already moved on from trying to repair the situation. Charles seemed increasingly distant, but Catherine was often described as someone who believed family relationships were worth preserving, even when things became difficult.
This expert, Dan Wakeford, says Harry wants a reconciliation. He regrets the things he said in the book, the documentary, and doing that again is off the table. Yeah, right. What's heartbreaking is he kind of has hoped that William would stumble a little and reach out and need him. I don't know if I believe this. He's got no avenue to communicate with him. However, the expert claimed it cannot happen as Harry reportedly no longer even has William's phone number.
That made her one of the few people still viewed as a possible bridge between both sides. Then more public interviews, media stories, and ongoing disputes continued to make headlines. While Catherine was focused on her health and recovery, the family drama remained front-page news. According to reports, that period became a turning point. Sources claim she looked at everything that had happened over the years and concluded that the damage had simply become too great to ignore. Now there are renewed claims that Catherine could be the one person capable of helping rebuild communication between Harry and William. Some reports suggest that idea is being discussed behind the scenes and through media coverage. But many observers question whether that responsibility should fall on her at all. The expectation alone has sparked strong reactions.
It's the same thing he did with King Charles a couple months ago when he let it be known through a source, wink, friend, wink, that, he would be happy to accept an invitation to Sandringham. But of course, he would only go if his wife and kids were there and that.
Oh, yeah, and if there's full security paid for by people like me.
And if he knew who else was going to be there. So it's the same kind of BS that's happening right now.
Dan Wakeford argued that Catherine may still be the only person who could reach William, but there's another possibility that rarely gets mentioned. She may no longer want to take on that role. As Paul Burrell noted, similar efforts at reconciliation have reportedly been discussed before, yet little seemed to change. Public reports often describe conditions, expectations, and disagreements that continue to stand in the way. Critics argue that every possible step toward peace seems to arrive with another complication attached. The ongoing tension has been fueled by interviews, books, television appearances, and years of conflicting narratives. Supporters on all sides continue debating who was right and who was wrong.
He's really the only one who wore the Nazi uniform and made those comments about his fellow soldiers, calling them packy heads and all the stuff that he did. He's actually the only racist in the family. And even that he hasn't taken responsibility for. He blamed that on William and Catherine.
Meanwhile, the relationship itself appears more strained than ever. Reports have suggested that William has made it extremely difficult for direct communication to happen. Whether those reports are fully accurate or not, the message from royal insiders has remained consistent. Trust has become a major issue. One palace source claimed that while several public moments caused frustration, certain comments about Catherine created especially deep wounds. According to those accounts, the impact went far beyond ordinary family disagreements. Another claim frequently discussed by commentators is that William believes years of public conflict placed enormous pressure on the family.
Here's the deal. We all know people who have had cancer or who may not be here anymore because of cancer. And we also know their number one enemy is stress.
Yes.
So why would you invite stress again into your life, especially stress that you do not trust, that have proven in the past hyper untrustworthy. And not to mention, why would you ever want Harry around when he's going to insist on bringing his wife, who once made you cry, then lied about it to Oprah?
While such views remain personal opinions rather than established facts, they are often cited as a reason the relationship has become so difficult to repair. So the question remains, if trust has been damaged for this long, what would it actually take to rebuild it? Why would anyone rush to reopen a chapter that has already caused so much pain and controversy? For many people watching from the outside, this story is no longer just about disagreements between relatives. It's about whether relationships that have been tested for years can realistically find a path forward again. Right now, that answer seems more uncertain than ever. Reports surrounding the bridesmaid fitting have been debated for years, but one thing is certain. The story became one of the most talked about moments leading up to the wedding. Later, during a major television interview, a very different version of events was presented to the public.
Don't forget, on Oprah, he called the royal family racist. He and Meghan both did. And then he sat in front of Todd Bradby and said, we didn't call them racist. The British press said that. Even though everybody has all the recordings where he said it. He's already tried to roll it back.
That interview reignited the controversy and sent people arguing all over again. Harry, meanwhile, stayed largely silent as the discussion continued. Then came years of headlines, public claims, books, documentaries, and endless media coverage. The disagreements stopped looking like private family matters and started becoming global talking points. Every new project seemed to bring fresh questions about old conflicts. Commentators also pointed to books and media releases that mentioned Catherine directly. One publication created major controversy after claims linked to conversations within the royal family drew intense public attention.
William just basically, I've been told, just feels that Charles is just making the same mistake all over again with Harry. And he feels that Harry's betrayal, particularly, this allegation that Catherine asked bigoted questions about a child's skin colour, particularly this allegation that Catherine asked bigoted questions about, a child's potential skin colour that came out in the Omid Scobie book that was then pulped. He thinks it's unforgivable.
The backlash was immediate, and the debate surrounding those allegations lasted for months. Then came Harry's memoir, which reopened several difficult chapters from the past. Critics argued that some of the stories included in the book placed renewed focus on family disagreements that many believed should have remained private. Once again, Catherine's name found itself pulled into public discussion. The result was years of tension, accusations, and competing narratives. Public supporters on all sides defended their preferred version of events, while the relationship between the families appeared to grow even more distant. During Catherine's health challenges, online speculation became especially intense. Social media filled with rumors, theories, and endless commentary. Some discussions became so extreme that many observers criticized the lack of basic respect and compassion being shown. The noise only seemed to get louder. Because of that history, many royal watchers questioned whether Catherine would want to step into the middle of reconciliation efforts now.
They came in and created negative, hateful content against their own family. And once you do that and you got nothing else to sell.
But it went on and on and on and on.
After years of public disputes, some believe it would be unrealistic to expect her to act as the bridge between both sides. As Paul Burrell put it, why would Catherine ever agree to have Harry around when Meghan comes as a package deal? That question continues to spark debate among royal commentators. Supporters of that view argue that even the smallest misunderstanding could quickly become another headline. A brief interaction, an awkward exchange, or a simple difference in perspective could once again trigger days of media speculation.
Let's say I don't like you and I have to be pleasant to you, but if you feel slighted because perhaps I'm not as effusive as you'd like me to be, then what are you going to do? Say I'm a racist? That will happen again, because in her mind, if we look at Meghan, in her mind, no one could possibly not love her.
That's exactly what many people believe makes rebuilding trust so difficult. For William, according to numerous reports, the issue is no longer just about avoiding drama. It's about protecting privacy and keeping personal family moments out of the spotlight. Critics have repeatedly argued that private matters have too often become public stories. Every gathering seems to generate new headlines. Every interaction gets analyzed from every possible angle. In that environment, some observers believe it's almost impossible for relationships to heal naturally. And if anyone still doubts how distant things have become, commentators often point to major family events where absences drew just as much attention as the guests who attended.
Common unspoken consent. Harry and Meghan's names were not mentioned, that they are persona non grata to such an extent that everybody understood it would be a solecism to mention the names of, wait for it, I made a note of it, the tosser and the dosser.
Each new occasion fuels more speculation about where relationships currently stand. Then came reports suggesting competing explanations for why certain events were missed. Some stories portrayed the decision as voluntary, while others questioned whether an invitation had ever existed in the first place. Whatever the truth may be, the situation only added another chapter to a family story that continues to fascinate the public. The story being discussed by royal commentators is that Harry appeared to distance himself from an event after reports suggested he was unlikely to attend anyway. Whether that's completely accurate or not, the reaction online was immediate. Critics argued it reflected just how complicated his position within the wider royal family has become. According to Lady Colin Campbell, who claimed to have sources connected to the wedding, Harry and Meghan were reportedly not a topic of conversation during the celebration. The focus stayed firmly on the bride, the groom, and the occasion itself. For many observers, that detail spoke volumes. William and Catherine attended, and reports described the atmosphere as relaxed and positive.
So yet again, Harry and Meghan are seeking to obtain the high ground and establishing how morally superior they are, when in fact everybody knows only too well that they are in the gutter. And Harry did not plan to duck his cousin's wedding. You can't duck that which is not a part of the occasion. Harry wasn't asked to the wedding. Harry was never going to be asked to the wedding. So how he can announce that he planned to duck that which he was not asked to? Oh, sorry, I forgot. Meghan has a reputation for crashing things.
Guests appeared focused on enjoying the day without the distractions that often follow major royal headlines. The event remained centered on the couple being celebrated, which is exactly how most families would want a wedding to unfold. One argument frequently made by critics is that any event involving Harry and Meghan tends to attract intense media attention. Fair or unfair, their presence often becomes a story of its own. Every appearance generates headlines, analysis, and speculation, sometimes overshadowing the original occasion. Because of that, some commentators believe certain family members prefer to keep important events as private and low-key as possible. Trust, privacy, and media attention have become recurring themes in discussions surrounding royal relationships. Observers also pointed out that various members of the extended royal family have continued attending public and private events without attracting the same level of controversy. To some, that contrast highlights how unique Harry and Meghan's situation has become. Then came criticism surrounding media deals, interviews, documentaries, and memoirs. Detractors argue that many private family matters eventually became public discussion points.
When they sold those hateful stories and shared those secrets of their own family, that's a hard thing to come back from. Once you lose the trust, it's gone. You can't get it back.
Supporters, meanwhile, maintain that Harry and Meghan were simply sharing their side of the story. The debate remains as divided as ever. Lady Colin Campbell summed up her view by suggesting that many relationships inside the family have become strained beyond recognition. Whether that assessment is accurate or not, it reflects a growing belief among royal watchers that reconciliation is becoming increasingly difficult. The next question often raised is why efforts to reconnect continue appearing in media reports. Some commentators believe financial pressures may be part of the discussion, while others argue it's more about reputation, legacy, and public perception. The reality is that nobody outside the family truly knows. What is clear is that public interest in Harry and Meghan remains extremely high. Their business ventures, partnerships, media projects, and future plans continue to attract enormous attention. Every new move sparks another round of headlines and speculation. Many royal analysts also point to the future of the monarchy as an important factor.
$6 million a year. $6 million a year to cover all their expenses. And up until now, their billionaire friends like Jamie Kern-Lena and all of them, and that Victoria Jackson woman with the makeup, have been letting them use their private jets and stay in their homes. But, after a couple of years of being used that way, I'm sure they're getting sick of it.
As roles and responsibilities evolve over time, questions naturally arise about where different family members fit into the bigger picture. For critics, the biggest challenge facing Harry is that his public identity remains closely linked to the royal family, even after years of separation from official duties. Supporters see that connection as unavoidable, while critics argue it creates ongoing complications. Either way, one thing is hard to ignore. The distance between both sides appears significant, and every passing year seems to make the path back more complicated than the one before. Harry once described royal life in extremely negative terms, comparing it to a restrictive system that limited personal freedom. That's why many royal watchers continue asking the same question. If life inside the institution was so difficult, why do reports about reconnecting with it keep appearing? Critics argue that royal life came with advantages that are difficult to replace. Global recognition, historic connections, high-profile opportunities, and worldwide attention all came naturally with the role. Outside that system, building the same level of influence is a very different challenge.
He thinks he can have his cake and eat it too. He can do whatever the hell he wants, and no one will stop him. And he may be right. They may not actually say anything. They may not take his titles away, but they will make them ineffective by never being in the same room with him again.
Some commentators believe Harry left hoping to create an independent path, only to discover that public interest remains heavily tied to his royal background. Whether that's fair or unfair, the royal connection continues to be a major part of how people view him. Others argue that the issue isn't about freedom versus duty anymore. It's about identity. After years of public disputes, interviews, documentaries, and books, questions remain about where Harry truly fits within the broader royal story. Critics often point to several public appearances that received less attention than expected. Those moments sparked fresh debate about celebrity, relevance, and public interest. Supporters see them as normal events, while critics interpret them as signs that life outside the royal structure hasn't unfolded exactly as planned.
Wasn't too happy by the fact that suddenly everything they put in it, the refurbishments and stuff like that, well, all being ripped apart. And this was very much played out in the public domain by the royals.
Images from public appearances have frequently gone viral, generating endless commentary online. Every photograph, event, and appearance gets examined from every angle. That's become a defining feature of Harry and Meghan's public life. Meanwhile, speculation about their relationship with the royal family continues to dominate headlines. Every reported disagreement, every rumor, and every insider claim becomes another chapter in a story that seems to have no end. Behind the scenes, some royal commentators believe tensions remain high between William and Harry. Reports from royal insiders have suggested that trust remains one of the biggest obstacles to any meaningful reconciliation. Tom Sykes reported claims that William has concerns about how family disputes have been handled over the years. According to those reports, William believes certain issues should be addressed directly rather than allowed to linger indefinitely.
Who he was sort of watching forlornly, like he was the sort of lover. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, Nacho's really his only friend around there. So he's probably like, get off your horse and come talk to me. I'm still lonely. I've got no one to talk to.
Whether those claims are accurate or not, they have fueled continued speculation about divisions inside the family. When it comes to Catherine, several commentators argue that past public accusations and controversies created lasting damage. Those issues remain some of the most sensitive subjects discussed by royal observers, and many believe they continue to influence family dynamics today. People often describe William as someone who makes decisions independently and rarely changes course once his mind is made up. That reputation has led many royal analysts to conclude that any future reconciliation would require significant changes from all sides involved.
The royal family will never let those kids in, because if you let the kids in, you let Harry and Meghan in. He's screwed his whole family.
Paul Burrell has also suggested that a major reunion does not appear likely in the near future. Similar reports have circulated regarding Charles, with commentators questioning whether meaningful progress is currently being made behind the scenes. For many royal watchers, the larger story isn't about a single disagreement anymore. It's about years of public conflict, damaged trust, and relationships that appear increasingly difficult to repair. The saddest part, according to many observers, is that there was once a close family bond at the center of it all. And today, that connection seems farther away than ever.
Well, actually, to be fair, I did report this week that the odds are looking very slim that Harry will meet up with King Charles at all this summer.
I so hope you're right, Paula.
Yes, I think really what's happened in the last month, as I like to call it, the days of our Montecito lives. Every week there's something else. So
there is.
These guys, they've just behaved so badly lately. And really, ever since they tore up the Sandringham agreement with that cover in People magazine, and really have just, with the monetizing of the children and the family, I don't think there's any way that Charles can meet with him, at least publicly. I do not believe he will show up to Birmingham.
Many royal commentators believe the situation has reached a point where opinions are no longer changing. After years of headlines, interviews, books, and public disagreements, people inside and outside royal circles seem to have settled into their positions. For some observers, Harry's connection to the UK now revolves largely around a handful of major commitments, including Invictus. Yet speculation about reconciliation continues to follow every visit. Despite the rumors, many royal analysts believe a dramatic reunion remains unlikely anytime soon. Others argue that the issue is no longer about titles or official status. Instead, they believe it's about influence, relationships, and access. A title can remain in place, but if personal relationships disappear, the practical value of that connection can become far more limited. Commentators often compare the situation to other moments in royal history, where formal titles remained intact, while personal ties grew increasingly distant. Whether those comparisons are fair or not, they continue to fuel debate among royal watchers. According to many reports, Harry was aware that stepping away from royal duties would come with consequences. Supporters argue he accepted those risks in exchange for greater independence. Critics say the long-term costs turned out to be much higher than expected. Years later, the family divide still dominates headlines.
Was warned beforehand, and he was always told there are these certain red lines, and if you cross those red lines, it's over, and my God, he crossed them,
Public trust appears strained, communication is reportedly limited, and every new development generates another wave of speculation. That's why many observers believe the story has moved beyond a temporary disagreement and become something much larger. Some commentators argue that Harry is facing a difficult reality. Rebuilding damaged relationships can take years, especially when private disagreements become public controversies. Whether reconciliation eventually happens remains an open question. Many royal analysts also point to another factor that continues attracting attention: family relationships outside the royal sphere. Meghan's relationship with her father has been widely discussed for years, generating countless headlines and conflicting interpretations.
Harry basically says he has more stories like this, that the public have no idea what truly goes on behind palace walls. I think we do, Harry, but the bottom line is nobody really cares anymore, given what you and your wife have actually said.
Thomas Markle has publicly expressed a desire for reconciliation on multiple occasions. Supporters of Meghan argue that the full story remains private and far more complicated than outsiders realize. Critics, however, point to the continued distance between them as a source of ongoing public debate. That contrast has led some commentators to question broader conversations about forgiveness, healing, and family relationships. Others argue it is unfair to judge private decisions without knowing all the facts. The disagreement remains deeply divisive. Meanwhile, Catherine's supporters often argue that years of controversy have strengthened her reputation for staying silent during difficult periods. They believe that approach has shaped how many members of the public view the ongoing dispute. The discussion surrounding media coverage, public narratives, and online commentary also continues.
Let me just say also, her whole brand is on family, forgiveness, love.
Right.
And yet she won't talk to her own father, who just had a leg amputated due to a life-threatening blood clot. He's now back in the United States trying to get fitted for a prosthetic. She still hasn't reached out to him.
Social media has amplified every disagreement, creating an environment where even small developments quickly become major stories. In the end, what many observers see is a conflict that has stretched on for years with no clear resolution in sight. Trust appears damaged, relationships remain distant, and every new headline seems to reinforce how difficult the situation has become. For royal watchers, that's what makes this story so fascinating. It's no longer just about titles, public appearances, or official roles. It's about family, loyalty, reputation, and whether relationships that have been tested so publicly can ever truly find their way back again. Many royal commentators believe Catherine's position is no longer uncertain.
Why would you ever want Harry around when he's going to insist on bringing his wife, who once made you cry, then lied about it to Oprah, and always seems to have varying recollections? Not to mention, you really don't want his wife around who would sell clothing to the effect of what to wear to meet your evil.
After years of public controversy, media scrutiny, and personal challenges, they argue her priorities have become crystal clear. From that perspective, her focus is on her immediate family, her health, and maintaining stability during an already difficult period. Supporters say that every major decision she makes is viewed through that lens first and foremost. Those same observers argue that this isn't about revenge, resentment, or trying to settle old scores. Instead, they see it as a matter of boundaries. After years of headlines and public disputes, some believe Catherine has simply reached a point where protecting her peace matters more than revisiting old conflicts. Reports from royal insiders frequently describe her as calm, steady, and firm in her decisions. According to those accounts, she is focused on the future rather than reopening painful chapters from the past. As for Harry, many commentators believe trust remains the central issue. Years of public disagreements, interviews, books, and competing narratives have left deep divisions that cannot be repaired overnight.
I mean, Nacho's really his only friend around there. So he's probably like, get off your horse and come talk to me. I'm so lonely. I've got no one to talk to. That's not on my payroll. Yeah. So I mean, it's quite sad, the outcome of the life he fought so hard for, that they did warn him about. And frankly, he could have still gone back into the royal fold had he not sold out his family and become the biggest hypocrite of all by acting like the press he so claims he hates.
Whether fair or unfair, that perception continues to shape how many people view the situation today. Supporters of Catherine often point out that she stood by family unity for years and was frequently seen as one of the few people capable of keeping communication alive. But according to recent reports and commentary, that role may now be over. For many royal watchers, the message seems straightforward. Family comes first, stability comes first, and difficult boundaries are sometimes necessary. Right now, few observers believe that position is likely to change anytime soon. The distance remains significant, and the path forward appears as uncertain as ever.